This is the last gate. It's theory into practice. So we're taking all the theory and then practicing it by putting it into our dissertation. What we did is we started constructing our document, which is called transfer document. It's 15,000 words. And just so you know, the whole dissertation is 60,000 words. So you're writing about 25% of it. But what's important is you have to show the roadmap and you have to prove to your supervisors and directors that you have a timeline and you have this path to success. And so that was this last module. We had to write this 15,000 document of what theories you've considered, what direction your research is going. Have you considered all the opposing views? Because you can't just look at it from one standpoint. And at the end, you have to show them that what you're going to study is the topic that you're going to be able to take to the finish line. And so they're looking at it from a standpoint of, would you be able to defend your dissertation? Should you be questioned at that last point of in vivo where you have these board looking at you and questioning you on how well you did? You know, did you do the accurate data analysis? Did you gather the right data? Have you considered everything? So this module is a proof of concept. So the first module was our leadership and followership. And in that module, we learned a broader application of leadership, which is wonderful because a lot of our cohort members are dealing with dissertation topics that have leadership elements in it. And then at the end of that module, we did a quantitative analysis exercise. So we had to run a multivariable regression, and that's to teach you, if you were to do a quantitative exercise, how you would go about approaching it. So that was the takeaway from leadership and followership. And then, goodness, global strategy. We had that module in Paris, and we learned a more global view of what it's like to strategically think of your business. And that was very helpful for me personally because I work with a business that has global goals. We are definitely aiming for global domination, even though we're in a good way, we're going to help the world become more sustainable. So that's actually, it's for good cause. But that module taught me to think of your business from a global perspective, which is incredibly important, I think, for any business. Because even if you don't expand globally, you will be dealing with global customers. So that was the takeaway. And also we did a literature review analysis. So we learned how to critically look at theories. And that homework was very challenging, but it was great practice because in your dissertation writing, you need to be able to critically analyze literature. So in innovation, it taught us how to look at the product development lifecycle, how to think innovatively, even connecting various ways of being creative. Our Professor Karen, taught us that a lot of times music is correlated with innovation, which is interesting. I guess it makes logical sense. I know one of the CEOs I spoke with, he's the CEO of this electric car company that he took 0 to multi-billion. And he said to help his engineers innovate, he built this $1 million music studio at the top of his company. Because when they go and have a jam session and play with these nice Gibson guitars and keyboards and drum sets, it helps them innovate. So it was very interesting how what our professor taught us, which is music connects with innovation and creativity, was actually used in practice based on what I've observed from talking to these other CEOs. So that was what I learned, is that there are different ways to innovate. And then we also talked about gamification. So in your research methodology, perhaps a more effective and efficient way to obtain data is through games, because when you have gamification, people enjoy that. So when you tell people, can you play a 5-minute game, it might be more enjoyable than an interview or filling out bubbles on this 5-point scale. So that's another takeaway, is how you can obtain data. And then entrepreneurship is the fourth module. So Dr. Joanna Berry and Ignatius were wonderful. We absolutely adore them. And we took these personality assessments to see how entrepreneurial or what type of tendencies we have. And that was very eye-opening. I think I was highly entrepreneurial. No surprise, because my dad's an entrepreneur. And it was more so teaching you about how to start a business and what it's like, and social entrepreneurs, what it's like to start a business that betters the world. Our assignment was analyzing an entrepreneur and how they achieve their path to success. And then to the theory and practice, which is the last one that led us to the final writing phase. So that wraps up all the modules. I can't believe we've gone through all of those and survived and made it. But it was fun. I think we definitely flexed our brain muscles. I think we've all built stronger muscles after going through these modules. Really, what drew me to the program was the diversity of it. So combining two different schools, one is deeply rooted in history, which is Durham. Another one is very innovative. Both are top schools. Both have great faculty. This is what they share. But one brings like strong traditions and another brings the new age ideas and concepts. So I love having a combination of both because I think both are really important. The professors that we've had, always one from Durham, one from MLeon, brought different perspectives. And I think that having this diverse view makes us more well-rounded as business executives and research students. I think the one common theme is every professor has amazing superpowers. And we literally bond with them because we're a smaller class. It's not like normal universities where there are hundreds or even 50. We have 12 people in our class. And so when you really get to know them and you have questions, you can reach out to them and ask them. It could be academic related, or I've reached out to them for work related questions. I think one of my challenges I was dealing with at work was the perception of an executive, especially being a female executive. There's so few of us. It's a single-digit percentage. Did you know there are more white men named Mike on the executive team than females? Like, that's crazy. So I call my female professor up and I ask her, like, what have you seen in research that has to do with perception of female executives? And Dr. Berry, she shares with me, like, okay, this is what I'm seeing in the literature. This is what research shows. And from there, I could strategize the best approach. So I just love having these like valuable people in my life that are so full of wisdom that I could just tap into. And she was a former CEO as well, so she has the business experience. A lot of the professors have practitioner experience. So that's something I never expected out of going to school, like just having this valuable network that you can reach out to and they're there for you. So I really am grateful for all that. So I work for Aptera Motors. We just turned 3 this year in March, and we're a very innovative company looking to change the world. So we have the first solar electric vehicle that's going to, one charge, go 1,600 kilometers, which is unheard of. And we harness this beautiful power of the sun, which is this natural God-given power. And so from that standpoint, we're moving from destructive to creative energy. So destructive is like fossil fuels and burning things and burning coal. We're moving away from fossil fuels. Because we're electric, we're moving into creative energy. So if you think of the sun, it is nurturing. It provides vitamin D. It provides photosynthesis for plants to grow. It also fuels our car. So going from destructive to creative is what we're doing. And learning from this DBA program has helped me become a better CFO in it. Because every module that I've gone through has brought forth more important tools that I could use to be a better CFO. For example, when we did the analysis for quantitative analysis, I took the data in my company and I ran a regression on which marketing ads and spends contributed to fundraising goals. So it was a multivariable regression. It was looking at, okay, if we advertise on Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn, what would bring us the most revenue versus social media in other outlets like newspapers and different YouTube websites. And running that analysis gave me a really good view of what correlation each one had to the amount of money that we brought in. So that was very critical for my company to understand which spend has the highest impact or which efforts to put into to yield the highest return. That's one of the tools I learned. And also, even just having this beautiful family from 12 different countries, right, which is my cohort, helped me a lot because in understanding the socioeconomic landscape of what country for my company to go into and what are the local economies, what are the potential challenges or opportunities, I could just pick up a Zoom or call and reach out to any of my classmates. And we're very close-knit family because we've been through a lot together. And they say people bond through hardships, right? So we absolutely bonded through this entire process. So I could call up any of them in any country and say, hey, what do you think of this or that? Or what would it be like for us to expand into this region? And I know I'm going to get the honest answer because they're my family. So that's another thing that's helped a lot. Sometimes we'll get investors from different countries even, and I will call up one of them and say, hey, what are the cultures and traditions I should watch out for? What are the things I should not say? So just from all aspects, this program has helped me greatly in just becoming more effective.